This is about people whose phones stay silent, not because they're busy, but because no one is looking for them. Birthdays pass without notifications. Weekends stretch long and empty. They have contacts, coworkers, classmates, but no one they could call at 2 a.m. This isn't a story about motivation or hidden superpowers. It's about what actually happens inside the mind when someone has no friends. People assume it's a personality flaw. They're awkward, they're arrogant, they're antisocial. Psychology doesn't support that simplification. Many people without friends aren't bad at connecting. They're tired of shallow connection. Small talk feels pointless. Forced laughter feels dishonest. They don't want to be surrounded. They want to be understood. And because understanding is rare, they choose distance over noise. Their minds are usually overactive. They replay conversations after they end. They analyze tone, timing, facial expressions. Did I say too much? Did that sound stupid? Did I come off wrong? This constant self-monitoring slowly kills spontaneity. Over time, they talk less, initiate less, and retreat, not because they hate people, but because interaction feels mentally expensive. For many of them, loneliness wasn't the starting point. Disappointment was. They invested deeply in friendships that didn't last. They were loyal, available, emotionally present, and then ignored, replaced, or betrayed. The brain learns patterns quickly. When emotional pain repeats, the mind starts labeling connection as a threat. Distance begins to feel safer than attachment. Isolation becomes a form of self-protection. People with no friends often appear emotionally independent. They handle problems alone. They don't ask for help. They seem strong. But that strength usually comes from necessity, not confidence. When no one shows up for you repeatedly, you adapt. You stop expecting. You stop reaching. Self-reliance becomes a survival skill, and eventually an identity. They aren't lonely in the way movies portray it. They don't sit around crying about having no one. It's quieter than that. It's the absence of sharing. No one to send good news to. No one to complain to after a bad day. No one who really knows their inner world. The pain isn't dramatic. It's dull, persistent, and invisible. These people often develop a strong inner life. They think deeply. They observe more than they speak. They notice patterns others miss. But this depth creates another problem. Most relationships don't operate at that level. Surface-level bonds feel empty, and deep bonds are rare. So they end up feeling out of place almost everywhere. They're not desperate for attention. They're desperate for authenticity. That's why they can be in a room full of people and still feel alone. Being surrounded doesn't fix loneliness when there's no emotional resonance. In fact, it can make it worse because it confirms the feeling of being unseen. Over time, having no friends changes how they see themselves. They start wondering if something is wrong with them. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, late at night. They question their worth, their likability, their relevance. Even when they tell themselves they're fine alone, doubt creeps in. Not having social proof slowly erodes self-perception. What most people don't realize is that many friendless people didn't fail socially. They opted out. Not consciously, not proudly, but gradually. After enough disappointment, the effort stopped feeling worth it. The emotional return was too low for the cost. This isn't a redemption story. There's no message about you don't need anyone or being alone makes you special. Humans are wired for connection. Prolonged isolation leaves marks. It dulls emotion. It reshapes expectations. It teaches people to minimize their needs because needing hurts. People with no friends aren't broken, but they are shaped by silence, by absence, by repeated emotional letdowns. And the most dangerous part isn't the loneliness itself. It's getting used to it. This isn't content for everyone. If it's for you, you already know what to do.